Hey everyone, it's Sarada and I scribble, and today is going to be an adventure. It is day 7 of Inktober. I've survived the first week. I am going to use ink and ink wash and maybe an inking pen and some watercolor to create this piece. I was a little iffy about using watercolors, but this is a piece of Mushi-shi fan art that I'm doing today. And Mushi-shi is a really beautiful anime. I am going to do a piece of fan art for the first episode, which is about a boy named Shinra, and his left hand is a little bit special. I'm gonna get right into it. So for today's video, aside from this first portion, I will be trying to do some real-time clips instead. I just want to change up the pace a little. I'm mainly keeping this part fast because you've seen me inking. If you've watched my previous Inktobers, you've seen me do ink. So, Mushi-shi. It's about Ginko, who is the main character. And he is Mushi-shi, which is a person who deals with normal people's mushi problems. And mushi are very spiritual, supernatural creatures that normal people can't see, but they are still affected by them. Shinra, in particular, he can see mushi, and when he draws or writes with his left hand, his drawings come to life. I can't really tell you more than that without spoiling the episode, so just go watch it. It's a really good series and it's really pretty. Okay, so back to the drawing for a little bit. I've gotten into the watercolor portion now. First and foremost, I rolled my kneaded eraser all over the pencil lines because I noticed they were very heavy. Originally I was going to ink all of it, but I felt like it wouldn't work with the mushi because they're really glowy creatures in the anime, so I felt like it would ruin the thing, so I lightened up the pencil lines and then just went right ahead with watercolors on top. All of the mushi in this drawing are actually referenced from the episode in particular, and I'm sorry if you can hear my dog, but he is on my lap right now and he won't shut up. But the mushi, they are referenced from the episode. A lot of them are from... Why? A lot of the mushi, they are referenced from drawings that Shinra showed Ginko of mushi he had seen. So I used a lot of those. I tried to stay as true to the colors as I could, but they are very pastel-y and glowy, as I said. So to just get some effect going on, I made the colors a little brighter than they usually are. I think the mushi I'm going to color now is my favorite. The little three-legged one below it is sort of the most common one in the entire series, but this one with the pink is my favorite. Now, it's not pink and blue in the anime. It's sort of a whitish yellow, I think, like most other mushi, but I just think the shape of it is so pretty. Once the first few mushi had dried, I decided that I wanted them to be more glowy, so I went over them with water to lift some of the color again, and then just spread that around and lifted some using a paper towel to get this sort of halo glow effect. It worked better on some parts of the drawing. This in particular didn't go too well, but trial and error. I really need to get more used to using watercolors. And once that halo glow effect had dried, I went in again and added some new color to the mushi, just to make them pop a little bit better. It felt like a lengthy process while I was doing it, but this video was barely any longer than what my previous inking videos have been. I've managed to stay around the 1 hour mark for the more intricate drawings. This one took 1.5 hours, but that was mostly because I forgot to pause the video during drying time and such, so I had a lot of dead air. I've skipped quite a lot of the watercolor process, but it's basically the same, except I'm using different colors for the different mushi. So first putting down base color, letting it dry, and then going over it again to create this glowy effect, so you're not really missing much. And I just needed to show this part because like the blue and the pink, it looks so pretty together, like I can't get over it. Now we're getting into the ink wash stage, and I lied. I have to put in some sped up clips here because watching ink wash dry is boring. Basically, I put down one complete wash, and then I waited for it to dry before I went in again and added some shading, let that dry, added more shading, let that dry, etc., etc. It was a nice process to do, but it's very boring to watch. Hopefully you do get the basic idea. And now finally it's time for some pure black ink. Shinra's hair isn't technically black, it's a lighter brown, but I thought the pure black would make a really nice contrast to the rest of the drawing, so that is what I went with. And it was really interesting and fun to do because this ink is really smooth. I'm just using a regular synthetic brush for this, and it goes on very smooth and not really streaky at all. So I really like working with it. And if you haven't watched my the art supply haul I did for Inktober, this ink I'm using, it's an India ink by Lefranc and Bourgeois or something along those lines. It will be in the description. And it's a student grade, even children's grade ink. So I'm kind of surprised by the quality of it. I really can't wait to try it out with the dip pens I bought off eBay. I really hope they do arrive before Inktober is over. They should. Maybe next week, if I'm lucky. I actually haven't gotten the mail yet today, though, so maybe? Maybe I get them today. One thing I really like about the mushishi art style is that, at least in the first season, they mostly don't highlight people's eyes, so a lot of the characters have this really sad or tired look to them, and I think it adds a great effect. Also, ears. Ears are really big for some reason. I don't know. I noticed that while I was, because I took like 1 billion screen captures as reference for the characters. I decided to go back and add some extra shading to the to the kimono because I had some darker ink wash left over from darkening the obi. So I just added that in a few places to put some extra dimension into the grayscale part of the drawing. Oh, and here you get to see the first sort of big overview of the entire drawing. You've only seen it in bits and pieces, but I just really like the huge contrast between the colors of the mushi and then the grayscale of Shinra. It looks really nice on camera. It looks pretty good in real life too, but somehow it always looks nicer on camera for some reason. Okay, I'm speeding up the last portion of the drawing, but basically I went in with a liner and lined some of the mushi because I felt they were disappearing underneath the watercolor. And then I realized I have a gel roller, so I used that as well, and I kind of wish I had remembered that before I did the line art because I think it would have looked nicer with more gel and less ink. Here's a pan of the drawing. You can see all the glowy little mushis, and here on the end slate you can see what it looks a little bit more cleaned up. Thank you so much for watching and staying with me for this first week of Inktober. I am all prepped and ready to start week 2 tomorrow, so I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye!